Welcome to the Rented Seat, where we talk to leaders about the impact they make while the clock is running. I'm here with someone today who understands impact and change in leadership, Brendan Clark. Brendan, tell us a little bit about the firm and share that with the audience, please.
Sure. Thank you, Lou. Well, Clark Capital Management Group, we're celebrating our 40th year this year, and we focus on partnering with elite financial advisors to deliver investment success. What we actually do, like what does that really mean? And tangibly, we work with financial advisors. We're an asset manager, help them with their clients' portfolios and understanding their long-term goals and objectives, and custom tailor those specifically for the clients. And we offer a fulsome suite of services around the asset management capability. So the advisor often looks at Clark Capital as a natural extension of their office to really deliver a fantastic client experience, but also an advisor experience as well.
You're a longtime partner of AssetMark, so it's been a great journey together. It's a unique company started by your dad. So I'm always curious about how CEOs or leaders get to these positions. What was the journey? But this is a unique one. So your dad created the company, stepped aside, your siblings work with you. So how do you get to that position? What was that journey like?
Sure. Yeah, I'm the youngest of four siblings, and we all operated in the business for multiple decades. We got our start in 1986, when Harry Clark, my father, left Merrill Lynch to go fee only. He built Clark Capital with a very clear belief system. Number one, always put the client first. And number two, take care of your people by treating them like family. So staying true to that belief system allowed us to build a incredible team with a fantastic culture and a wonderful, thriving business. Being our origins were a family business, when I took the seat in 2017, and a little bit before that as president, because I was president for a few years before coming into the CEO role, I really had to focus my time and effort and hone the leadership's focus on essentially institutionalizing the business across all teams and all segments or functional areas of the business, and elevate it.
Right.
And also across all levels, from entry level even to the board level, because we just had to really scale up. We're looking to scale our business, deliver greater value to the advisors and clients that we serve, and we had to be better ourselves.
Right.
And we had to grow ourselves in order to do that.
That's not easy to do, especially when things worked a certain way when the company was small. How did you, and I'm always curious, like, how did you influence people, your siblings, your dad, your board? It's one thing to do that when you're a CEO and you're renting the seat for a short period of time, but when it's family, it's a little harder.
It's way more complicated.
Yeah.
So before I came to work at Clark, like you, I was in technology.
Oh, okay.
As a background. And then when I shifted over to financial services with Clark Capital, I went right into the distribution side. So that allowed me to really understand the customer experience and the voice of the customer coming up through the wholesaling side.
Right.
And the distribution side. And I spent really a decade and a half doing that, and then ran our business development, and then came into the C-suite. So just methodical progression with more and more experience. And when you look at the family dynamic, or take that into consideration, right? Each one of the siblings came to the business with a different skill set, and we contributed to the business in different ways.
Right.
And just coming from the distribution side, and oftentimes CEOs need to be the lead salesperson, right? The voice of the organization externally and also internally, leading progress and change. So part of that was a little bit of a natural extension.
Right.
But there were certainly hiccups along the way, and challenges, and especially when it came to institutionalizing the business.
Right.
Because if you push the business too hard, like family could get bent out of shape, or if you push family too hard, then you run the risk of the business not operating the right way. So
Right.
it was understanding and striking that balance
Right.
of progress, but focusing on the advisors and clients we serve
Right.
as our North Star, And that's really helped the company grow, and frankly, our leadership team grow
Yeah.
and evolve over time.
So you recently led the company through a major change. Why don't you share with everyone what that change was? And then I'd love to explore how you got to that point, how you led through that change with the board, with the team, with the family, with your employees. But why don't you share that with us?
Yeah, we recently announced we've entered into a strategic agreement with Raymond James. They will assume 100% ownership of Clark Capital, and we will become a wholly owned independent subsidiary within Raymond James Investment Management. So one of the business lines of Raymond James. We're thrilled. We think we have incredible cultural and strategic alignment. On the cultural side, they also have the family roots,
Right.
with their founder eventually handing the reins over to the son, right? The son took the business public, but they treat their employees like family.
Right.
So the cultural alignment is there. They, like us, are hyper focused on the advisor and client experience, putting them first. So we think the underpinnings of this strategic combination are beyond sound.
Right.
Frankly, I think they're exciting. What drove the change? The industry is changing in ways that reward resources, scale,
Right.
and reach. And the opportunity in front of us is getting bigger and more complex. So we felt as an organization, the best path forward was to think about
Right.
and exploring a potential partnership opportunity. So we went through a process,
Right.
from a position of strength, not having to do anything,
Right.
but let's see what this process could yield. And we're thrilled
Right.
at the end to partner with Raymond James. For any founder, right? Founder-led and or family-led business, it's a pretty impactful change. So for me, I started almost simultaneously at the board level, and at the family level, because we have been thinking about, hey, like, do we go down the path of a PE, maybe bring in a minority to inject some more resources? So we had already been having those kinds of
Right.
conversations. So once the environment we operate in began to change so fast, we thought, hey, you know what? Let's take a step back. Let's think about hiring some help and hire a banker to help advise us through what is really going on here and what our opportunity set looks like. I am a big proponent of having a very high degree of transparency in communication. I think it just builds trust. I think it's necessary for people to feel comfortable. Just have to communicate with clarity and transparency. And I think that's one of the very special things that underpins the culture we've been able to build at Clark Capital. So not having the ability to be transparent with the full organization when this is going on was personally difficult for me, and something I actually addressed and spoke to at the internal town hall when we made the announcement. So, which was emotional for many reasons.
Right.
So with the people that were under the tent and involved in the process, it was communicating with transparency and clarity, even about the things we didn't know. Frankly, especially about the things we didn't know and the uncertainty, because that's what can create the fear and anxiety and distract people from what we're really here to do, which is run the business and engage with our partners like AssetMark and serve financial advisors and their clients.
So one last question. You've got a new journey in front of you. I think it's going to be great for you guys. But this is just more of an open question. For the next person that rents a seat at Clark Capital, what advice would you give them as they go into that next chapter of your journey? Not that you're going anywhere.
No, I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. We have a lot of work ahead of us. But you actually really kind of teased it a little bit in the intro to that question. If the next person to take the CEO role of Clark Capital, 10 years, 15 years, whatever that is, my advice would be, yes, it can be lonely at the top, especially at times. You don't have to bear the entire weight of the organization on your shoulders only. Leverage the team that you've built, because if you've built the right team, you can delegate both within the C-suite, but also at the board level as well. That to me, having those resources, those people, those confidants, and those people that I trust and the expertise they bring to the table has been invaluable leading through this process. And the other, because we're always trying to change and evolve and enhance what we do for advisors and clients and for our people, for our teammates, don't be afraid to change stuff.
Right.
But just because we've done something a certain way for a certain period of time doesn't mean it's the right way today or into the future.
Yeah. I got a saying that sometimes what got you here is not going to get you there. So
100%.
So Brendan, thank you so much for spending time with us and sharing some insights in your personal journey. Big news about Clark. We're really excited for you and looking forward to the next chapter. So thank you again for being with us.
No, it's my pleasure. It was fun. Thank you.
Thank you. The seat is rented, the clock is running, and the leaders we admire are the ones that can shift and adapt and transform and lead companies through change. Stick around for more episodes of The Rented Seat.